间还有一些这里面在座的有些家长，他们的孩子在这里上英文这个老师他其实他比较擅长的是针对 SAT 和 ACT 的补习。现在我们 Mrs. Bellman, we welcome.
Thank you, everybody. What I want to do is introduce you to one of my students. He was one of my SAT students a year ago. He's actually in grade 12 now, but he did the SAT the first time in grade 10. He got 1480, which is a high mark, and he has since risen up to 1570 on his most recent test.
I think the first question is, are you guys all okay with English? Can you guys all understand English? Because I can speak. 我中文也会说，可是我中文说的差一点嘛。对，有没有家长就是两个球有点忘了，所以就是我觉得 SAT 大部分都是靠自己练的嘛。我觉得刚开始的时候跟教练学，跟这些人学会有很多帮助，就是 at the very start 嘛，就是来 build 一个 strong 的 foundation。可是 after 那个你就开始自己练 SAT， 就是他们讲完的时候，我可以再继续。有问题我还可以问。谢谢。
Hey, I'm impressed by your Mandarin. Good job. He told me he doesn't speak Mandarin, and he does. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Steinman. 1 year ago, I was teaching him the SAT, and then this summer, I was teaching him a bit of the SAT physics and math for the higher levels. But when I teach big groups of people, I make them call me Mr. Steinman so that it's more formal. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. Okay. Her family says the ACT is better than the SAT, but please do both. Her family, by the way, is me, because that's my mother. She looks like me a little bit. She was the first female cheerleader at McGill University. Before 1956, only men were allowed to be cheerleaders. Isn't that weird? And then in 1956, they allowed the first women, and she was in the newspaper. She worked at UBC and McGill as an English teacher. I worked at UBC as an instructor as well. Most people outside of America don't know that the ACT exists or don't know that it's really good. It's really good. Most of my students will do better on the ACT. You do both because you don't know which one your child will do better in. It's a little bit up to luck. So you should try both. I've done it myself, I've done it for others, and I'm going to do it for your children today. I'm going to help them. ACT Superscoring. Notice here it says 35, but I did it twice. I did it once in October and once in December of last year. So I got 35 again. But here's the thing. It's actually 36 when you put them together. Because Superscoring, you take the best mark from each of the four. So my best math was 36. My best science wasn't this one. It was this one, 36. And my best English was 36. And my best reading was 34. And you add these up and divide, it's 35.5, which goes up to 36. These were actually 35.25 for both of them. And I was just one question off from perfect. And I was so angry because I wanted perfect. But I realized later, Superscoring. Most schools will just pick the best. Automatically. One of the reasons they do it is not just to help your children, it's to help themselves. I used to get offers all the time from schools only because I had a high mark. They just wanted to bring a high mark person in. This is the Governor General of Canada, David Johnston. He stopped being Governor General last year. He gave me my degree at McGill. And I worked for Prime Minister Mulroney. Charest, I only volunteered. I did lots of weird, exciting things that would make a good book one day. And I also helped other students. So I didn't just help myself, I helped other students. This is Jack Poole. He brought the Olympics to Vancouver in 2010. I taught his granddaughter, Erin Hawksworth, who became a sportscaster on the news at CNN and other stations around America. This place in Vancouver downtown is called Jack Poole Plaza. We actually became good friends. I used to stay at his house all the time. He was a very nice man. Unfortunately, he passed away about 10 years ago. He passed away before the 2010 Olympics, so he didn't get to see them, but he did the work, he built the Richmond Oval. I was doing SAT tutoring for UBC. They sent me their students. This girl got 1310, she was pretty happy. It's where you start from. Most people climb at least 200 points. What I'm going to do today is teach science, but I'm going to teach it with plain language. I'm not going to use difficult scientific words, and they're still going to get a very high score. So the thing about the ACT science, the reason I'm doing this, is people are afraid of it because they say, I didn't study science. I think kids in grade 5, 6, 7, up, if they're smart, can do very well on this section because it's all logic. It's all about understanding the fundamentals of science, like the scientific method, how to read graphs, independent variables, dependent variables, all these things that are the fundamentals of learning no matter what the science knowledge is. So even if the science knowledge changes in the future, we say, oh, the old ideas are bad, we have the new ideas, you still use the fundamentals. And my goal in life is to teach 2 million students. That's my goal. I haven't even gotten close to that because I used to teach only, in person, but I'm going to start teaching online. 2 million for free. 2 million students who, hopefully before I die, I will see it. I'm going to use the logic of the real ACT test, not scientific knowledge. The ACT test hasn't changed in over 20 years. It's always the same, so that makes it very easy to find old tests. The SAT from College Board, the one everyone likes outside America, their test keeps changing all the time. I took it myself in November, 6 days ago. 6 days ago, I went to the United States and took the SAT myself. And 2 weeks ago, I took the ACT myself. So I know what the tests are like, and I can tell you that the SAT keeps changing all the time. And it's hard to find any practice test. Now, students enjoy my class. That's my most important thing that I bring. I don't feel that the fact that I got high marks matters. I think what matters is that I can make it interesting. It's because I really love it, and the kids know I love it, and then hopefully it brushes off on them that learning is more important than playing video games. I want people to really want to have real accomplishments in life, okay? And learning is a real accomplishment. And Mr. Stein's passionate. That's true. And superior results. I like when my kids that I teach get very high marks, okay? I like to see that I've done something. So while we're doing the class, it's interesting. And then after it's over, their marks are high. So that's what makes me happy. But I will admit, I don't do things the same as other schools. Other schools are more strict and more boring, and they would definitely teach all sorts of scientific knowledge if they were teaching this. My uncle was a scientist. He had a lab in New York City filled with cages of mice. Everywhere you look, there were mice in cages because they were all going to be given diseases, or maybe some of them weren't, and then dissected to find out how to cure cancer and AIDS and things like that. Yeah, I know, I didn't like it either. I can see your face. I felt sorry for the mice. So I can't personally do that. Boom. So the last thing is, how am I going to do this class? There's going to be 10 practice sections, and even though the real time limit is 35 minutes, I'm just saying 60 minutes for now because they're not going to be able to do it in 35 minutes. They're not going to be able to finish. So when they're at home, they're going to do 60 minutes of homework. And if they want to do more, by the way, I'm happy to give them more things to do because a little bit of scientific knowledge would be good. Then there'll be 10 lessons where I explain. And even though the test officially takes 35 minutes, it will take almost 2 hours to explain those 35 minutes at first. I'm expecting that later, as we get near the end, they'll start doing really, really well and being close to perfect. So maybe like the first 3 lessons, I'll be teaching easy things a lot of the time. Then the next 3 lessons, the easy things will be forgotten because they're all good at them. And then I'll be teaching a lot more of the medium and hard. And then in the last 4 lessons, I'm hoping it'll only be the hardest stuff. I'm also going to give them 5-time tests, that's my goal, outside of class time, where they're going to come in and do it like this, where make sure they do it honestly and do a real test that was really given by ACT in the past and see if they're progressing up. Okay, they won't always go up, but usually they'll go up. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm hoping that people will realize when they see how easy the science is, that they'll say, oh, well, I'll just tell you, the ACT English, which I also got 36 every time, it's very logical. You just need logic. People who don't speak English that well will do very well on the ACT English. The part where they'll have trouble is the reading. The reading is quite difficult. It's the most difficult part. And then there's also a math section. It's not amazingly tough, the math, but I'll say the English and the science are the 2 easy sections that people can get a perfect score quite easily, and I want them to try, okay? And, okay, they're going to be finishing their test in 1 minute, so I'm going to stop now and teach them. At the end of my lesson with them, if any of you want to come speak with me personally, I will probably have some insights on your child, have intuition to understand how they're thinking and like what they need for motivation. Because one of my problems with kids today is they're not motivated enough to do real things. They're doing all the fake things on social media and video games where you win too easily, or you care about things that aren't important. And I want people to care about it. This is the most important thing. If you go to a college that you're not happy with, you will be unhappy about it and have regrets for your whole life. You'll always think, could I have had a better job? Could I have had different friends? I think about it, oh, how would my life be different? Okay, so I'm going to go teach your children. I'm going to start teaching now.